because he produced music that it had longevity. He produced for artists that invested in their careers. They weren't one-hit wonders, so he made an impact.
There's only so much you can do with music, and he was one of the innovators that really put a stamp, and you knew his sound. So it's like, if you do it this way, it's always a reflection of Dilla, because he was the first one to do it like that. So it's just a matter of everything from now on is going to be somewhat of a copycat.
It's, you know, it's that Yancey feel, it's that J Dilla swing, it's that nod, it's that bop. It's one of those things that when you listen to the music, even when you listen to his rhyme is some street shit. Like, it's just real. You know, let's see who earning ducks. Jeep ass niggas turn it up. Make niggas nod when they ride their cars. Dilla come out, niggas hide their cars. Like, that shit right there is just, you know, fuck the police. Like, he went in. Like, he went all the way in on everything that he did, you know. And even, you know, and then not only that, like, he had the D, and he had the gully, and he had the gritty, but he also had the soul food, you know, Janet Jackson, Q-Tip, the stuff that he produced for the Far Side, like Drop and Run. Like, yeah, it's one of them joints.
I would describe J Dilla's work as classic boom bap hip hop. Like, the drum patterns for me is what did it with him, or how the kick would be off a little bit, but that early 90s improv sound.
The thing I would say about his work is that he was tireless. He spent his every waking moment making beats, living to do his art, and that's admirable. As an artist, that's an admirable thing where you could dedicate your whole life, even on your deathbed, you know, request your machinery and make beats and tap beats out, you know, and I think that was just another testament to how great he was, you know, and his music is to this day.
I think Dilla's beats had a voice, and they had like a homing device. So they pulled like certain artists to the beat. I don't think Dilla set with Far Side and wrote Running. I don't think Dilla set with De La Soul and wrote Stakes Is High. You know what I'm saying? I felt, but so happened they made the perfect song. It wasn't just beats and rhymes. They were like songs and concepts. So I think like Dilla's beats actually speak words in the people, you know, in the people's lives and to people's hearts.
I would describe it as timeless. And I would also say that, you know, to listen to Dilla is to like listen to a master at work. You know, there's not too many people who can take an instrument like an MPC and take other songs that people had made and craft his own original works from it. So it's like listening to a master at work is what I would say.
I would just push play. Like I mean, it's really no explanation. It's more of a feel, a rhythmic way of playing on programming instruments and, you know, drums and stuff like that. It's just a feel.
That's an interesting question because you know, it's almost like if you go back into tradition of black music, you go back into gospel music, spiritual music, things that really drumming, the drum, it really touch the soul, the innerness of what connects one person to another. In our generational music association now, I think that his music will have a lot to do with that sort of traditional connection. The drum is a very, very similar thing with his approach to music, the rhythm, how it moves the soul, how it stirs the soul, and why till this day, 9 years on, why we are still so connected to what this man, his intention was, you know. And also I think what was very special and why, you know, he's a very soft-spoken person, whereas it didn't matter really so much. His bravado really wasn't about the music. You know, he didn't have to brag about what he did. You know, he had it's like a silent giant.
Personally, I met him like 3 times, and all the times he was like super humble. You know what I mean? I would walk away and then like tell people, yo, I met Dilla. He was like super humble, one of the most humble artists I ever met. And in my head, it was like, yo, that's how I want to be. You know what I'm saying? That's how I want people to talk about me.
Work is something that we actually grew up on. Everybody basically grew up on. And since we were little, you know, since we were in grade school, You know what I'm saying? It's the brand of hip hop that we came to know. You know, that's our first, you know, introduction to hip hop. And Dilla just basically is a real torchbearer in that tradition itself. As far as the brand of music that we actually create is the brand of music, the boom bap hip hop that he actually was known for. And so that's our inspiration. I mean, he worked with some of the artists that we actually grew up on, that we actually grew up watching and we learned a lot from. So that's the best way to say how Dilla has actually inspired us. Even if we didn't know it when he was inspiring us, Because there's a lot of music that we actually came to know, you know, was produced by Dilla. It's some of the music that we actually inspired by being part of our family.
Well, when I first started rapping, I kind of molded like some of my cadence around how he arranged his songs. Everything wasn't 16 bars. That's what I loved about him. Sometimes I could rap for 24 bars and maybe 8 if I wanted to.
The song I'm doing tonight is one of the first songs I ever heard from Slum Village, ever. And then I researched and went back and realized, oh, he did all these other songs that I love. And, you know, so yeah, this was my first introduction to Slum Village, the song I'm doing tonight.
Actually, it's funny. My first time actually ever hearing a Dilla song, my boy, he's here now. My boy, DJ Jimmy Fingers, he actually introduced me to him on like the back end. Like it wasn't intentional. So and when I found out who it was like I needed to get more music. I needed to find out who this guy was. Who is this guy? What is he doing? And I got introduced to Slum and then get the more obscure stuff that he was doing, like the stuff he did with the remixes for Jan and stuff like that. So for me, it was just, you know, hearing the stuff just made me want to hear more and more, and like really get into like how he produced stuff and really break it down and figure out what the essence of it was.
A lot. He inspired me a lot. Like I've done quite a few. I had quite a few placements on some albums for production, and I can definitely tell the inspiration is in the drums. Like for me, I focus a lot on drum programming and stuff like that. So he inspired me, like the way he does his drums, and great inspiration on that part, at least, you know.
Basically, he just has you listen to stuff that you never even would have thought of. Like just being part of this, I'm learning all the samples and stuff that he's used and flipped and everything, and it's crazy that he bought this track out of this 2-bar sample. So it's just crazy how, man, he just teaches you all types of stuff musically that you would never ever consider.
He inspires through the songs that he's been a part of. I go back and I listen to records from Erykah Badu, from Slum Village, from Common, and all of these records are produced by J Dilla, you know?
I think he continues to inspire artists because, one, I have a lot of stuff that, like obscure stuff that people don't have. It's music that's out there that he did so much. He was always working. He was always in the studio, so he had so much. His library is vast. Have somebody be nominated for Grammy after Grammy and is still working. Like he's like, while they're having the Grammys, he's not there. He's in his studio working. That's motivation enough, you know. Like just to hear that story, you know, like hear how he invited people into his home and like work with them, or he would invite them to his home and like, you good? You know, I'm gonna go do this, but you good? You fam? Like stuff like just the nature, like his nature, like his good body nature is an inspiration itself.
I think Dilla if he were alive today, he would be somebody that we would put in the pantheon of greats, like we put Dre or Timbaland or Premier or Pete Rock. But because he passed away, I think we didn't get to see his fullest potential, which is unfortunate, but he left us so much music across so many different genres of music. I think, you know, he left a legacy. He definitely left his footprint on hip hop, and I'm thankful for it, you know.
Dilla is iconic. So his inspiration is without time. That's one of the things. That's the thing you got to really understand about what happened when Dilla came in the game, is that he changed the landscape of music. You know, he didn't quantize. So when you listen to beats, they sound like they live. They have that feel, they have that push that gave people a feeling of soul music, you know, with the rich legacy of Detroit and everything. So all of that together just made Dilla stand by himself. whenever you have anybody that comes into music that totally changes the landscape of that music, then that's a person that's gonna last throughout history. If they're, you know, unfortunately he passed away, so we only saw a glimpse of the greatness, but I can imagine and just extrapolate on a lot of the stuff that he did that was ahead of time that still stands today. Timeless music. It's one of them things, so he was timeless.
Yeah, this is Rod the MC.
I'm Hezekiah.
My name is Kike.
I'm Asheru.
I'm Mr. Turner.
Yo, it's Godzilla.
I'm Slim Cat 78.
I'm J Hill.
I am India Davenport.
And I love Dilla.
And I do love Dilla.
And I love Dilla.
And I do love J Dilla.
And I love Dilla. And I love Dilla.
Of course, I love Dilla.
I love J Dilla.
DC Loves Dilla.